Throughout the 70s and 80s, David Bowie defined superstardom as he redefined and invented genres of music and the very idea of a rock icon. His fluid image and cultural omnivorousness meant he was never satisfied standing still. He tried everything once, and that extended to his film career. Bowie lent his massive fame and utterly unique screen presence to a host of oddball films that he knew could benefit from his presence.
I like you, Ed. I do like you. You're very good. The Stones. What? Where are the Stones?
He brought something to these films no one else could, and in return he made them stand out with his rare charisma. Bowie's habit of lending his unprecedented fame to smaller, stranger projects made him the perfect bedfellow for British music video pioneer Julian Temple, a cult documentarian highlighting forgotten or misrepresented corners of the music industry, trying to restore some balance to the million wrongs done to artists over the years.
I've been searching all through the city, see you in the morning down by the jetty.
Everything looked good, our form was good and our pedigrees were good, but we couldn't get a deal, not that easily.
But once upon a time, Temple could have changed Hollywood for the better, if only audiences had been willing to accept his brand of caffeinated pop art majesty. His delirious rom-com Earth Girls Are Easy tragically flopped, which ended his burgeoning career in America. That's almost nothing considering that it came after the flop of his 1986 musical Absolute Beginners, a film that couldn't even be saved by the presence of David Bowie singing and dancing like a postmodern Fred Astaire.
You know you got something. You know you got this style. We don't take much, just a little bit. That's motivation.
The more you delve into the history of failures in cult films, the more clear it becomes that the average filmgoer doesn't have any compassion for the filmmaker who flies. The director who was traded airtight drama and characterization for unhinged production design, florid art direction, musical invention, and a palette of technical innovations, habits, and fetishes designed to intoxicate.
Well, no trousers, Ken. Don't be.
Yeah, who's an England tobacco?
Come on, Edie.
Is this enough?
All right, 50 quid, but that's for two of you, right?
Where to, girls? Hey. Right, girl.
Oi, it is where you going?
Temple's film is a true original, a bawdy, colorful feast for the eyes and ears. The carefully curated music, both old and new, turned into a chiffonade by the sound editors, hiding softly in the background when it isn't exploding in the foreground.
If you could see my weirdo family, you'd never have to ask why I left home. Poor Dad. Sweetest bloke you'd ever want to meet, locked up with his pre-war photo album and his sad memories. Mum trying to keep her looks, always carrying on with the lodgers. Half-brother Vern, born middle-aged, thick as two bricks, and you wouldn't even want to imagine what he gets up to.
Hi.
If this is adult life, I think I'll stay an absolute beginner forever.
Something's happening, but I'm just gonna turn a blind eye. If I see no evil, I ask no questions and I hear no lies.
Temple's technique, a mix of Ken Russell's incendiary musical histories and Basil Dearden's political films noir
Out
renders this tale of star-crossed lovers separated by ambition and escalating racial tension into England's own West Side Story. Thanks to the pudding-thick accents and the dozens of tangents that don't directly feed the narrative, it's easy to get a little lost. But that's sort of the film's hope, to strand you on an island, surrounded by momentous tides of music and dance, to turn everyday life, the ups and downs of London in the 50s, into the stuff of cinematic fantasy. The presence of Bowie winds up being just one more piece of the film's glorious puzzle. After failing at the box office, and with most critics, Absolute Beginners has almost been resurrected as the cult favorite it cries out to be, but never quite gained the necessary traction. A film this daringly, lovingly, and carefully wrought. A film this in love with the opportunities that only film affords to create whole universes unto themselves, deserves an audience willing to ride its wavelength. Perhaps now that Bowie has left us, it may be rediscovered. And this time, the love may finally pull it once and for all from obscurity and give it a richly warranted second life.
Cool, honey.